Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. You may have seen Allie in some of my videos on Instagram, but we've been hanging out really since this year. Like I met you this year and it's just been
a whirlwind.
A whirlwind of a friendship. You guys know when you meet someone and it's like they have been your best friend forever? Like I swear, when I met Allie, I just was like, oh, we've done this before.
We've done this for a few lifetimes.
Yeah,
yes.
We've definitely done this for a few lifetimes. And Allie's been like so pivotal in my life and encouraging me to share my writing and share my poetry. And if you've been following me on Instagram or following my poetry page, which I'll link down below, you can see that I'm really opening up, and the inflection point when it all started happening was really when I met this woman. So I'm incredibly grateful for you, and I'm incredibly grateful to have you on the show, the channel for a little bit. The show, it's the show. So today we're gonna be talking poetry, and Allie, whether she wants to admit it or not, is a best-selling author and poet, and her first book, Explorations of a Cosmic Soul, is out now, and she has another book in the works, which is super, super exciting. But yeah, she's fantastic. Why don't you, for people who don't know who you are, explain a little bit about yourself in, I don't know, 60 seconds or less.
60 seconds or less, okay. Sum up your entire being in 60 seconds or less.
Good luck!
I'm on it. No, but I'm really passionate about encouraging people to follow their heart and really share what feels honest for them, because I think so much of the time we chase something that's not meant for us, and that's why we're in so much pain, because it seems like the clearest path, instead of going on those random twists and turns that, you know, will lead you to something more beautiful than you ever could have imagined. And so I think that writing is one of those ways that you can extract the magic of an experience and alchemize it, you know.
Yeah.
If it's a challenging situation, you can take that and make it into beautiful art, and so that's why I think it's so important. And also, Dakota, I don't know if you've heard, has a book coming out.
It's coming out, guys.
It's coming out, and it's beautiful poetry, and I love his poems because they're always so honest and raw, and they really hit you in the gut, and you're just like, oh, I didn't realize I was gonna cry at 9 a.m. Cool. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that. I fully received that. But today we're going to be talking about our top tips, and each of us, I think, is going to give 3 tips, and more might come out, who knows what happens, about poetry. And if you want us to start getting into writing or wanted to start expressing yourself through language that way, what would be our tips to do that? By the way, we're right next to this like street in the background, so if you hear cars, we're in Oahu right now, so like,
so there's
roosters
cars,
and green, and if it starts to rain on us, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, so Allie, you are a guest. Why don't you start with your first tip?
My first tip is to just to get your fear out of the way. So we have this practice called morning pages that we do every morning. It's from the book The Artist's Way, and essentially you write 3 pages of absolute nonsense. It could even be like, I don't know what to write, I'm exhausted, whatever it is. And that's meant to take out the junk in your mind, so that you can actually hear what your heart wants to say. And then when you're writing a poem, I would just start with one line that's honest to your heart, and from there it'll build. But just try and find just even a few words that are honest and true.
I love that. And so my first tip kind of goes along with that, like finding that first line that's honest. I think when it comes to poetry, the best thing that you can do is be as honest as you can possibly stand. Like, as you can possibly stand. Go to the places that you're afraid to go. Go to the places that you're afraid to write about. And it seems really scary, but the most therapeutic and healing moments for me in poetry have been when I went there and I just wrote about things that I was too afraid to even speak out loud, but if I could get it onto the page, then I would be, if I was brave enough to get it onto the page, then I was brave enough to speak it, and I was brave enough to live it. And so going just as honest as you can possibly stand, I think is just, that's really the practice. So if you feel a little afraid to go there, I say go there. And if you haven't like read Brene Brown's work, like she talks about shame research, and she's like, the remedy for shame is to speak it. And so I think poetry is a great way to, even if it's not speaking it, just start by writing it. Yeah, so go there. That's my first tip.
Go there. My second tip would be to seek inspiration in your life experiences. Our really good friend and awesome poet In-Q says if you're not inspired by life, you're not paying attention. And so pretty much every poem I write has come through some conversation I've had or something I've personally gone through or observed within someone else. because I think that life is like a classroom, and every experience is a different lesson that you can take from it, and you keep repeating the same lessons over and over again if you don't learn them. So poetry is kind of a way to capture that, and for me it's my way of making sense of a nonsensical world. So I guess it would just be pay very close attention to the everyday moments around you, because there's always a little magic if you look for it.
Certainly is. There's magic. Okay, I have to remember what my next one is. Hold on. Sorry guys, I took notes. Oh, okay. This one, don't reach for the first metaphor always. And I say that not to say like not to trust your intuition, but I think especially when I'm first starting out, sometimes I just reach for like the biggest hyperbole that I can. It's like they broke me into a million pieces, and I'm like, did they really though? Or is there a more exact way of describing that? And if you always reach for hyperbole right away, then you lose the subtlety. And sometimes that's like what I love about poetry, is like the real nuanced subtlety of being able to describe an experience that's so nuanced, that isn't just like a jackhammer. You know what I mean? Like there are going to be those moments, but if all you have is like jackhammer language, then it's going to not have that kind of like flow to it, you know? It's not going to be able to take me into the nuanced spaces that life creates, because life has a million different shades and colors. And so find all the different shades and colors, find all the different places that you can go. I say write it all first, and then see if you can go and find the best metaphor or find the best way of describing an experience that's as nuanced as our lives really are.
I actually, yeah,
Blah.
I'm a poet, I swear. No, but I definitely agree with that, and I think a great example of this is the poet Hafiz. If you don't know his work, he's a beautiful, beautiful Persian poet, and for example, he has one poem that says, "You're God hiding from yourself. You are an elephant with amnesia trying to fit into an anthole." And so instead of saying like, you know, you cannot recognize all that you are, or just putting it in such simple words, he's saying like, you are an elephant trying to fit into an anthole. And there's something about that simple language and really clear imagery that makes me get it. You know, it hits and it resonates. And so that also plays into my next thing of like, read a lot of poetry and find what it is that you love about poems, and not necessarily to write as similar to someone else, because you'll find your own voice, but if you read every different type of poetry, you'll kind of start to take little styles, I guess, to create your own. So write what you love to read. Consume as much as you can, because you'll get inspiration. Like, I'm so inspired when I read her work. It always makes me think so differently. And then we love Rupi is like fantastic. And I love Hafiz. I love the Persian poets. I love Rumi, Kabir. Those are some favorites of mine. Najwa is amazing. Najwa is so incredible. She has, I'm going to plug her. She has a beautiful new book called The Nectar of Pain. And if you're going through any sort of heartbreak or self-love journey, which we all are at one point or another, it's amazing. So.
I love that. And then my last one would be to use as many senses as you can. So really to bring things to like a body imagery level too. We have all these different senses, and the poetry can put like a feeling in our mind, which is fantastic, but we also experience feelings in our body, and you know what it's like, that like we talk about it even in the language we use, like, oh, my stomach dropped, there was butterflies in my stomach, like you could taste the blood in my mouth, you know, my ears were ringing. Like there are so many different like images that we can use that'll help us like get around an experience even more, and really take us into an experience, making your poem into an experience as opposed to just like, you know, I don't know, something that's only descriptive. So dive us in with as many senses as you can. Dive us into your poetry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that also speaks to like this kind of, and I'm part of this, but the Instagram poetry, again, it's very instant, and so you're not really spending a lot of time on a poem. So what I've learned is to really write the poem, sit back and take my time with it, because otherwise if you're just doing it for that hit, you're not really evolving in your art. So I think it's important too to really be patient with yourself in the evolution process of your writing. I think that's 4 tips, but
okay, but there you go. Lots of tips, lots of things, and just write. I think the last thing is just write. just freaking start. Just get in the game and start writing. I think it's Maya Angelou. I love this quote. She's like, there is no greater burden than that of a story that is untold. And I think that's, for me, like whatever your art is, whether you want to paint it, photograph it, create a video about it, or speak it into poetry, like just start creating and start sharing your story in whatever medium works for you. But this is our medium and we freaking like it. So with that being said, Allie, will you perform a poem for us?
Okay. This is a new one, very new. It's one of the most recent ones I've written. If you want to alter the direction of your path for someone, it's not love. If you want to change your values for someone, it's not love. If you want to put your dreams on hold, compromise who you are, or swallow your truth for someone, it's not love. It is an unhealed part of you, recognizing an unhealed part in them. Ironically, it is often the most passionate connection because of the intense familiarity, but you must see it for what it is. They are a lesson, not a soulmate. They are not meant to fill the tears inside of you. They are meant to further rip those tears open so that you can give them an honest look and finally repair what was once broken. That way, when true love does come, you will truly love from wholeness. Your capacity to heal will deepen your capacity to love so that you do not reduce the other into being your medicine, distraction, or possession. Do not remold who you are. Remember, love never demands that you change. It only ever demands that you become honest and whole.
I love that. That line, they're not a lesson there. Well, they're not a soulmate, they're a lesson.
Yeah.
That line sticks with me so much. I love that.
Cause I mean, for me at least, I know that I feel that connection and that I'm like, oh, this must be this, but you know, learning to stop myself in my tracks and be like, no, I'm drawn to this person because they carry a lesson for me.
They have a lesson.
And not projecting this whole grand story. So that's an example of me like drawing from my life experience.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
You gonna share yours?
Yes, I'm gonna share one. Okay, I'm not 100% sure which one I'm gonna share though. Now I'm like
just
second guessing.
go with what you feel. Impulse.
I've been sitting in the dark, begging my pen to write this poem, trying to make sense of the quiet. The closet is no place to live, and neither is the perpetual state of fear, but for once this voice in me says that it's no longer about you. I want to stand for something bigger, to add my weight to the scales that make equality seem just a bit more possible, but I'm dealing with the shame still. And still banishing counterfeit gods that told me my arms were made to embrace another gender, I am begging for the courage. Because I'm not some hero in a cape, just a heart that is dying to find its way back home, and a voice checking coordinates and maps to see where it got lost. I'm tired of remaining silent, but sometimes I think it would be easier to just elope, instead of staring down the empty seats and unopened wedding invitations from people who are praying that my happiness was a phase. I don't mean to offend you when I fall in love. No, these words are my tender hands, scarred from schoolyard bullies, poor theology, and a poverty of empathy. This poem is my chance to take up the gauntlet and reclaim a part of my humanity and offer it to those who understand that no acronym or rainbow parade could ever sum up the courage it has taken to simply be myself. And if no one has told you yet, let me be the first to tell you how much brighter the world is now that you're here. And maybe it's a trick of the light, but from where I stand, I think I can finally see the meaning of pride.
You see what I mean?
Thank you so much for coming on to my show for the day. You guys, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with us a little bit. You'll be seeing more content from us because we're here in Oahu, like creating stuff. We're about to go to Kauai, which I can't wait. So you'll be seeing more stuff. And I'll leave her socials, handles, like links to her book, all that and jazz in the caption below and stuff. So check out her channel, check out her Instagram, check out her poetry. She's fantastic and she's one of my favorite humans. So thank you for being here.
That was beautiful.
Yours was beautiful as well. And we will see you guys later. Bye.